You mentioned NFTs, which is a huge buzzword recently. I mean, I remember at the beginning when I heard about them, and I saw the first NFTs somewhere there, like artwork. I thought like, okay, well, that's a fad. That's going away. I mean, a bit like collecting Pokemons. And I was listening to Raoul Pal, the founder of Real Vision, a couple of days ago. And actually, he mentioned that it's like a lot of people think it's a bubble, but when you go deeper, there is there is a lot, and there is a lot that can be applied to all sorts of businesses, and there's so many ways that you can use NFTs for. And actually, I thought it's quite powerful with art rights and like, for example, for music, you cut that, well, the power is brought back, for example, to the musician or to the artist, and in many other ways. What are the ways, what are the ways you can apply them that you think they are going to say and be most impactful for the business or for the individuals?
NFTs have been around for quite some time, right? Speaking in blockchain or crypto terms, where 1 week is sometimes like a year, right? In other industries. Yeah. And I mean, I first got in touch with it when, I think, it was back in 2017 when there was this whole CryptoKitties hype, right? I didn't invest in them, right? But I experienced the network congestion of the Ethereum blockchain myself. And back then, I thought, it was a fun concept, but I have to admit, I also didn't pay too much attention, yet to it. But then over the past years, 2018, 2019, and especially, in 2020, and now going into 2021, they've really become a hot topic, right? And while there is obviously some sort of bubble going on, or it may have already burst a bit, where the prices of certain NFTs were just crazy. And I heard, some people that I was speaking to that have been in the space since, 2010, 2011, they told me stories that they were asked by others, can you please bid on my NFT? Like, let's say 500 ETH or so, right? Kind of these, back in the day when everyone was asking their friends to bid on their eBay listings. Mm-hmm. So these type of principles have also been applied to a certain extent. And there is some craziness around the NFT space, but also on the other hand, NFTs are a unique and very, let's say, sophisticated concept and diverse concept because, basically they're programmable media to a certain extent. And also it allows, kind of that, that uniqueness is very feasible to a lot of people. And, that aspect of digital art and such. So some people know about NFTs, but they have never heard about Ethereum, right? While Ethereum is like, kind of allowing NFTs to emerge, mostly they still haven't heard of it, but they know about NFTs, right? And this shows how NFTs can be, a very, let's say, easy gateway to this entire industry because people can understand it. Okay, there's this digital art, and when I have this NFT in my wallet, I own it, right? And NFTs also, what makes them special, in my opinion, is that they have so many different use cases. You mentioned it, the digital art form. They can be used within the metaverse, right, as in-game items / assets. They can be used by applying perpetual royalty models within the music industry. They can be used for patents. They can be used, which I also find quite interesting, for identity. There's just so many different aspects to it, or also just generally that collectible aspect. Or imagine, let's say, you kind of an interesting idea that I also find is that basically, when we look at the CVs, for instance, and no one is really paying attention to CVs anymore. Like, people don't really update them, or they lie on them, whatever it may be. Or when we look at social media platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever it may be, that this is also kind of a form of a CV, but it's very fragmented. And what I personally also find interesting is, imagine every kind of achievement within your work career, is basically then, transferred to you as an NFT, and then you can kind of have a gamified CV, so to say, and you can transparently display it. And people can also say, okay, this NFT, which says, okay, this sales manager has, closed a 1 million deal is coming actually from the verified address of that respective company. So, any information that you present can be verified. So there's a lot of different concepts around NFTs that basically can be applied. And, I think definitely kind of this craziness and, this bubble that has been going on will probably evaporate to a certain extent, but the general utility of NFTs will prevail, and they will definitely be used in a lot of different use cases. I mean, what I also find interesting is that people are using NFTs more and more, obviously, for the IP use case, which then also allows, for instance, that not only one person or one centralized player owns the IP, but actually, for instance, a decentralized community that is governing the IP on chain, just because the IP is in the form of an NFT, right? And so there's so many different use cases, and I think this shows how much potential NFTs have, right? And obviously, I wouldn't encourage listeners, especially if they're new to this space, to just go out there and buy any random NFT. But if there's like an NFT that kind of attracts their interest, it's definitely also an interesting, let's say, approach in regards to kind of just experiencing a bit of the industry and how the processes go. And another let's say use case for NFTs, which kind of relates also to the identity use case, is the aspect that there's kind of these hypes going on right now where people use where there's these kind of communities like CryptoPunks or the Bored Ape Yacht Club and things like this, where people have their personalized avatars, which are scarce, let's say 5,000 only of one specific genre, right? And they're quite scarce. And there's these hypes around these as well, right? Where you have your, let's say, metaverse identity in the form of that NFT. So I mean, it's just, it's very interesting to follow this entire space. And I mean, definitely NFTs, let's say, are probably more, let's say, easy to understand for especially people newly entering the space than, let's say, a complex DeFi tool with lending and all these other mechanisms or synthetic assets, right? Which when you're not dealing with finance in general, then this is not something you're interested in, right? It may help you, but you're not interested in it anyway. But with an NFT, anyone or everyone is interested in art and all these aspects. It's something that brings everyone together a bit. And this is, I think, the power, the potential of NFTs in the long run as well, that they can be a good entry point, much better than I don't want to go into detail into this too much, but let's say aspects such as Dogecoin or such, which are mainly just hypes, but don't really have any utility. But so hence, I think NFTs is definitely an interesting space to look at. And while the bubble may have faded away a bit, it's definitely here to stay, and definitely also sustainable business model around these NFTs that can be built. Yeah.